allowed to make the comment that I thought if we had Kyle Scott in our team last year, that would have improved it. Can we make that comment?
I think. Welcome back to another episode of TSPN. We're doing our Bleed Orange and Black series once again. I'm your host, Braden Parsons. Here's my co-host, Carter Gwen, and our special guest, retired Coach Franco. How you doing today, Coach?
All right, Braden, good to see you guys. Yeah,
great to see you too. Now, Coach Franco doesn't really need an introduction for most of you guys, but if you don't really know him by the name, you're going to know him now. Coach Franco has coached at Tyrone for 25 seasons across 2 tenures, and he has been able to ground up over 230 wins.
Well, to be honest, right now it's 290. You mean at Tyrone or altogether?
All time.
All time, it's like 290 some.
Yeah.
They told me I was well, at Tyrone, honestly, I'm not sure.
It's up there. I think it's pretty close to 230, around there.
It might be somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, so after 25 seasons, you made your announcement on January 17th to the underclassmen meeting. Yeah. Was that in the field house?
No, in fact, it was in the high school weight room.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was, somebody said, well, why'd you do it? And there's a lot of different reasons, but what it comes down to is I just thought it was time. When I originally came back, it was to mentor a certain coach and then to try to get the program back on course. And there were a lot of factors in what had happened, but the one thing that I'm very proud of right now is that the program is structured and on course for success. And we have the youth program under Coach Gummo, and he is working that. And then we have the junior high program. Coach Johnson was with me before, and then Jesse Graham has it now and is doing a fantastic job with it. And now the new 9th grade program, that really kind of messed us up a little bit. They are now part of the JVs, as you know, and that's all a Laurel Highlands thing, and which we were not in favor of, but we did make it work. And Kenny Van Devender is in charge of that, and he's done a fantastic job. And then that ties in with our varsity program. So all of these coaches are affiliated with the varsity program. Everybody runs the same system. Everybody talks the same language. All the coaches are like one staff, and everybody is part of the program. And so from the youth level up to the varsity level, everybody's on the same page. And that did take some time into, getting together. In the last 4 years, we have been 8-2, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. Not good by our standards from what we had set before, but definitely, in the toughest league in Central Pennsylvania, without a doubt, we're on the right path. And I think in the next couple years, you're going to see some great success with the Tyrone program. As long as the school board is smart enough to bring in, one of our coaches that are applying, and I'll go out and tell you, I just right now really think that Jason Wilson is the guy that should be in charge. He was the guy that I was brought in to mentor, and there were some problems. He went away a little bit, but we had kept in touch. We brought him back this year. And my hope was that he would be ready to take over the program, and he's more than ready. He is an outstanding coach. He's had success in the past. He's a Tyrone kid, and he knows how to run a Tyrone football program. And I think he would be a fantastic choice, and I'm really hoping he gets the job. And if he does get the job, the entire staff's going to remain in place, and he will do a fantastic job, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he had a heck of a season as our defensive coordinator this year. We had one of the best defenses in the LHAC based off of points allowed alone.
Absolutely.
And then if he just gets the offensive side down, could be a really good team next year.
Well, keep in mind, offensively we averaged 25 points a game, and then that came off the year before where we averaged 37.4 points per game. And I think we led the Laurel Highlands. So it's there, and now a couple guys have got to step up and do the job on the field, and I think we're on track for that. Okay.
So how'd you get yourself into coaching?
You don't have enough time for me to go into that. No, you know what? To be honest with you, I played 4 years in high school, and then I went to IUP, and I played 4 years at IUP. And I really fell in love with the sport in college. I thought IUP does such a great job of preparing their players to coach. And so, my coaches knew that, and they gave me a grad assistant job and for a year. So I worked with the IUP program for a year, and then I was offered a job at Bishop Guilfoyle, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like high school football to coach. I really enjoyed the college level. And so I spent a couple years with Tom Irwin, who is one of the icons of coaching in Central Pennsylvania. You guys, well before you guys probably were even born.
Oh, yeah, I have no idea.
But he coached at Bishop Guilfoyle, which is where I played and originally coached. But and I really felt like he coached the game the way it should be coached in high school, and he was my mentor. And so I kind of fell in love with the game from there, and I went from Bishop Guilfoyle to Altoona, which was quite a jump, and from Altoona to Tyrone.
And what year did you start at Tyrone?
I started Tyrone in 1994, and then I went to 2012, and then went back to Altoona for 8 years, and then come back to Tyrone. So, it was kind of it really had become like a Tyrone-Altoona connection back and forth. But that's given me 48 years of coaching altogether. So, quite a long time, and I kind of felt that the staff was in place this year, and that I wanted more of the young guys to take charge, and I think they have, and I think they're doing a really good job. So I'm anxious to work with them a little bit, hopefully, and keep the program going in the right direction.
So whenever you stepped in to the program in 1994, it was kind of struggling, wouldn't you say?
That's a very nice, compassionate word for it. It was in disarray, and it's just one of those things. It was nobody's fault, nobody's problem. It just they had 5 coaches in 5 years, and as you guys know, I mean, you'd be switching systems every year. And when I got there, we had to make some changes and get some people in place. And then, after my first year was 5-5, which was, a very productive year for that point because we were playing all sophomores. And from that point on, we just had a sensational run. We went from 1994 we were 5-5. In '95 we won the first District 6 championship. We went all the way to the Western Final where we lost there, but we had just about everybody back. And in 1996 we won another district title, and we made the run all the way to the state championship game. And we lost that, but
But was that Mount Carmel that year?
Yeah, we played Mount Carmel, and we actually gave them. In fact, Mount Carmel people they're just like Tyrone people. They're so involved in the game. And I got a call from some fan, and he said, "Well, you realize this was the best team in Mount Carmel history, and you almost beat them." And I said, "Well, but that almost isn't good." And I said, "We want to beat them." And they said, "Oh, you'll get more opportunities." And then a couple years later, we did, and then we did beat them. So
yeah, you got your revenge in '99.
Yeah, we really did, and we were 15-0 that year. A sensational team and a group, and the thing that's really neat is the Tyrone football community. To this day, and I always keep track of this. Tyrone and Mount Carmel had the two highest attended state championship games in PIAA history, and most of that's from the Tyrone faithful. And then when we went there the third time in 2011, we had all of our side filled, but the Lancaster Catholic people, they didn't really come in much support.
Yeah,
so
those private schools don't
those
really travel
private
that
schools,
much,
they don't
huh?
travel at all, you're right. So
It's that small town community.
small town community, baby, that's right. They supply a lot of the intangibles for the team, as you well know. So it was a great run that first tenure, and like I said, I think we're well on the road to getting it back, and like I said, I'm really anxious to see the next couple of years, because I think Tyrone football is going to explode, and I really hope and believe that Jason is the man, and I think he would do a fantastic job. And as you can see, I'm really behind him and supportive. But I just want to see the program keep going in the same positive direction.
Okay, yeah. So moving on, what would you say is like your favorite moment as a coach? Like I know you discussed this with me before, and you said coaching your two sons up through high school was really important to you, and then obviously the '99 state championship was a heck of a year. What other moments do you think?
Well,
would be your favorite?
like I said, honestly, nothing can supersede the the ability to coach both my sons. And I don't know if they would say that was there. They probably didn't like it as much, because I think I was tougher on them than on anybody. But if and when you guys ever become fathers, you'll understand that. It was just a very special time for me. The three state championship teams were each in their own right were fantastic, and I think my favorite one might have been 2011, because if I would rank the top 10 of my teams, the 2011 team, which came within whiskers of winning the state title, they had no business of being there. We were not. They were probably my fifth or sixth best Tyrone team, and they had such a will, such an attitude that nobody was going to beat them. They beat, we beat, what was considered to be maybe the best Aliquippa team that they ever had. They were undefeated coming into the Western Final. They were picked, the people in Harrisburg who did a lot of the prognostications there before games like that, we were getting picked to lose by 40 points and everything else, and we beat them. And we went to Hershey, and we were again picked to the Harrisburg papers, which do all the projections and everything. They said there's no way you can say Lancaster Catholic. They're too big, they're too fast, they're too strong. So I taped the television interviews. Back then you could tape them and show them to your team, and so we kind of watched that the night before the game, and I could just see our guys getting gunned up. And we had Lancaster Catholic. I mean, we played them as tough as anybody played them all year, and we came within 10 points of, and actually we were driving for the go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter, and we missed a fourth down call by inches, and they took over and ran out the clock and ended up beating us. But that might have been my favorite moment, because it was a group of kids that had no business being where they were at, and they just did a fantastic job of playing the game, getting more out of their abilities than anybody should have been able to get. And they were a fun team to coach, no doubt.
What felt different in your second tenure starting in 2019 compared to your first one?
That's a great question. There was just so many things that were different. The attitude of the kids really had changed. It wasn't the same. I thought there were too many parents involved in some decision. Now, I should say we have great parents in the Tyrone football community, without a doubt. But it only takes a couple here and there to mess things up. And there's just that's a shame because there's so many really good parents that have helped so much, and I hate seeing them all tagged like that. But it just seemed like a different culture, and that has been the biggest problem, is getting the culture back to where it was. And I think right now we're on the right path to that, and that's why I thought that, because initially I was only going to try to be here for 3 or 4 years and coming back, and then it was we still weren't where I thought we needed to be, and I'm hoping that that's where we're at now, and that's why I'm so adamant about having one of our coaches take over, and especially Coach Wilson, because I think he's a Tyrone guy. He was part of that program. He knows what it takes to get there, and he's been there. He's been there before, so he's ready to go. And I just hope that he gets that opportunity because he will do a great job.
Yeah, that's great. So we already discussed your favorite moment as a coach. What would you say is like your least favorite moment as a coach?
My first year, we were playing the last game of the year, and we won, we were playing in Indian Valley. That was Mifflin County back then.
When are they coming on?
And they were a big school. They were a AAA school, and we had to win. We were 5-4 at that point, and we had to win to make the playoffs. And Tyrone hadn't been in playoffs forever, and we played a heck of a game, and we ended up losing 13-7. And but we were playing all sophomores. We had a heck of a team coming back. We made so much progress that first year, and I was really excited, thinking, oh man, we got a good group coming. We're going to be good next year, which we were then, as we talked about. And as I'm coming off the field, everybody else had gone into the locker room, and there was just one guy sitting in the bleachers, and he looked at me and he said, Franco, you're terrible. Why don't you go back to Altoona where you belong? We don't want you here at Tyrone. And then it was just like putting a pin in a balloon to bust it. I thought, oh, jeez, I'll tell you what, these guys. But it was more of a funny moment than a down moment. But it really was a good first year, and it set the tone for, 17 straight years of making the playoffs and of winning seasons, and we never had a losing season. I mean, we had 18 years of winning seasons and making the playoffs and winning 8 times and going to 3 championship games. So it paid off. I think, we started the spark. In fact, that's a great question, Braden. The former athletic director, Pete Dutrow, and I would talk about this, and Pete was really close to the program, and he brought up a point, and we had not beaten Huntington in like 10 years when I got there, and they had supposedly another really good team, and we played them the second game of the year all the time there, and they just were killing us every year, and we went down to Huntington with a bunch of sophomores and some pretty good juniors, and we ended up upsetting them on like a trick play with about 40 seconds left in the game, and we ran a hitch and pitch play, and Marcus Owens got the pitch, and he went 80 yards for a touchdown, and we kicked the extra point. We beat them 14-13, and that game, according to Pete, and I agree with him, it turned the whole program around. It showed that we could beat a team that was really good, the team that had won AAA championships, several in a row coming into that year, and we knew that we could play with the big boys then, and we ended up with a 5-5 season, but it was a good 5-5, and that I really think, Pete was right. That kind of set the tone for the rest of my career there. So I think that would be the spark. That's a great question to ask too. But yeah, that would be it. Not the old guy in the stands yelling things. You know, that you get that all the time there.
So I know you said that the youth program's connected to the junior high's varsity. When did that all start? Because I feel like quite a bit ago, the youth program was like its own separate thing. Coaches were running their own plays, using different terminology and schemes compared to what you're using up on the varsity level.
Well, you know, it's not that. You know, we have a lot of former players of mine coaching there now, and I'm not about the schemes or the plays in the youth league. All right, the thing that I'm most concerned about are the techniques, blocking and tackling, basically, and they're doing what we're doing. But the thing with the youth league, the whole key there is, and I tell the youth league coaches this all the time, your number one job is to make those kids love playing football so they come out in junior high. And the best coaches in youth league that I have seen have their teams that just love to play the game. They love to go to practice. And that really carries over into junior high because it makes them want to come out then. And that's when, once we get them in junior high, now we've got the system down. We've got the terminology. We've got the plays. We've got the schemes that we want to use. But we've got to get them there. And to get them there, we have to make them love to play football. I mean, did you guys ever come to any of my camps when you were in grade school?
I think maybe one.
Yeah.
I was
And
there,
what
yeah.
was the best
I
part of
definitely
the
went.
camp? What was the best part of the camp?
The scrimmage at the end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the touch football game at the end, right? We could play that. The parents were yelling at me to let them, stop, and that they love playing. And that's the whole thing. You got to get them to love to play the game. And, there's a lot of negative people out there that are against football for, reasons that we don't have enough time to go over. But, kids love to play it. And Tyrone kids in particular love to play the game. And that's what we wanted. We wanted them enjoying football so that the next year they come out in junior high. And we had always been successful with that until the second tenure that I had, and then it was much harder to do. Although we still did, and they still loved playing the touch football game, and it got longer and longer and longer. So, but I think that was really important for them.
Do you think you'll stay involved, either like volunteer, radio, or just full retirement? What do you think?
Well, I don't even know what retirement is. I just feel like I'm changing positions. I expect to be involved, hopefully at Tyrone, but I could go a lot of different places. I've coached at IUP, like I said, as a grad assistant, and year in between coming back here. The year before I come back here, I was at Penn Cambria for a year, and before that I was back up at IUP and helping out as a volunteer there. So I'll probably be doing some football coaching somewhere. I hope it's here. We'll see. I'm probably going to get my quarterback camp started back up, and I think that, but that's for the whole area. That's not just for one team or anything. But I really hope to stay involved in football. So hopefully.
And before we wrap everything up, the line, the starting offensive line, all of them were seniors this year. Do you have any advice for whoever takes over the program on how to get these younger linemen ready for the season and get them playing the way that they're capable of playing, that you've seen through practices and even the JV games?
Great question, because if you've listened to me enough over the years, everybody talks about the quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, et cetera. The most important group on a football team is the offensive line. And they're more important than the defensive line because they control the game more. So anytime we have ever won championships, we have had great offensive lines. And they, not that they had great talent, but they were tough kids, strong kids. And to do that, what we have to do is we have got to have better strength training. And I know I've talked with the coaching staff with this ad nauseum. And we're in the process of that now. And the problem is we've got to get a good weight room in the high school. And until we do that, it's going to be difficult. We've had, some people around the community that have helped us. Nick Getz is one of them, and I know there's some other, people around. But we've got to get them all together, lifting together, and preferably in a weight room that the high school builds for us or has helped us get, and that's our priority, and that benefits the linemen more than anyone, as you know, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to get those guys stronger, and I think once we've got that, that's the primary part of developing a lineman, and then being part of the system and finding the tougher kids, and we've got some bigger kids coming up, and the group coming into 9th grade this year and the group coming into 10th grade, I think, are going to be outstanding. They're going to have some outstanding linemen, and they're going to form a really great foundation for football success. And so they know they're the most important group, but they also know that they've got to work the hardest, and hopefully they got that message this year.
And then I'm going to wrap things up. Do you have any final statements before we conclude?
I just, first of all, I want to thank you guys for doing this. I think this is such a great thing. And you're going to have to explain to me how I can get this and watch it here and, evaluate myself. But no, I just want to thank the Tyrone community. I think they have a great football community. I have enjoyed working with them all the years. I've loved the kids, I always used to say that Team Toughness Tyrone came from the Tyrone water. And if you drink the water, you're going to get the Team Toughness Tyrone item out of it. So just keep drinking the water, guys, and keep the program rolling, and hopefully, we will get to the success level that we all want to achieve here. And I think that we're definitely on the right road to obtaining it.
Yeah. And that's going to do it for this episode of TSPN. I'm your host, Braden Parsons, with our co-host, Carter Gwen, and our special guest, Coach John Franco. And we just want to thank you from us for getting on the podcast, and thank you from the community for all the years that you've been with us.
Okay, my pleasure, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
25 falls on the same old field, whistles at dawn, breathe in the cold. Orange and black in the Friday lights, you built us up, made the timid bold. Chalk on your hands, mud on your shoes, 4th and short, you stare right through. Lean on each other, don't lean on luck. You taught a town what a team can do. Coach Franco, this one's for you. From the hill to the goal line, we followed you through. Orange and black in our blood, in our bones, team toughness forever. This is our home. We are Tyrone. We are Tyrone. We are Tyrone. We are Tyrone. Gold on the banners, rings in the case. Stay down the road, you set the pace. But you kept saying it's more than a game. It's who we become when we play through the pain. You saw the kid hiding back of the line, pulled him up front, said, son, you'll be fine. Win or lose, you would look in our eyes. Hold your head high, you're still my guys. Coach Franco, this one's for you. From the hill to the goal line, we followed you through. Orange and black in our blood, in our bones.
have a chance to do something that hasn't been done in almost 50 years, that's not hard to focus on. And now they're realizing a dream.